Hey, it's Nathan with CrazyHourMarketing.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create both physical and digital products within ThriveCart. So let's go ahead and get into it. So here we are in ThriveCart, and we just want to go to products right here. And then we'll go ahead and click on the create a product button right here. And now we can go ahead and select whether we're creating a digital or a physical product. We'll start with the digital one, and then we'll move over to physical. So we'll do create new product. Now a lot of this stuff is self-explanatory, so we can go pretty quick through the whole process. So product name, so this is what will appear on the cart and invoice. So you want to make sure that you use a name that your customers will understand. So I'm going to fill this out real quick. Then the next field is label. So this is something that you can use to help you keep your product straight. So maybe you have different versions or variations of your product. Maybe you have one that is like a one-time offer where it's a sale, so it's a discounted price or something like that, versus your regularly priced version of the product. So you could use the label in order to keep the different variations straight. So maybe I'd call this one the full priced version. And then you could go ahead and assign a checkout page URL. So this would be the page path of your checkout page. And I'll have another video on how to set up your ThriveCart domain if you want to go ahead and change it. So link in the description down below if you want to use a different domain name for your ThriveCart. But moving on, the next option is product status. So you can hover over this I right here and it gives you some information. And we can see the definition for test mode right here. So basically, this is for testing out your order form, making sure it works. They'll give you a dummy credit card number in order to go ahead and test a payment so you can see how it all works. So you probably want to go ahead and leave your product in test mode until you can ensure that it works properly. But let's go ahead and click on disabled real quick, and you can hover over this and you can see disabled products are not available for sale, and the checkout page will not be visible by anyone. So basically, if you're trying to remove this product, you could go ahead and disable it instead of delete it. And then of course there's live, and in this instance, people can go to the sales page and buy your product or service using their credit card or PayPal account or whatever payment method you allow. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it in test mode for now. Then you could go ahead and choose your cart language. So they have a few predefined languages right here. Additionally, if you went over to settings, you could create your own language. So if your customer's language is different than what's available, you could go ahead and create your own translation for ThriveCart if you want to do that. But we'll leave it on English, as that's what I speak. Then we can go ahead and pick the owner of this product. So depending on your level of ThriveCart account, you may be able to share your account with clients, or you may have some different options, like if you're not allowed to have clients. But as you can see right here, I could select between myself and one of my clients, which is just a demo. Or if I had assistants, I could go ahead and select one of my assistants. But I'm going to go ahead and select myself, and then we can go ahead and click on next. Now we get into the pricing options, and there's quite a few options we can select. So let's go ahead and do set product price right here. And we have payment types. So we have one-time fee. We also have subscription, split pay, or pay your own price. So 4 different options right here. And we'll quickly go through all of them in this video. So one-time fee is self-explanatory. So if someone comes here and they pay a one-time fee in order to buy your product or your service. So let's say I'm going to have a one-time fee of $997. I could go ahead and set that up just like that. And then we have trial period. I'm not going to set one for this one-time fee. We'll go through this option when I select a different payment type. So I'm going to leave it on none right now. So customer purchase email, so send for initial purchase. So do we want ThriveCart to send the customer an email when they buy this product? And more than likely the answer is yes, so I'm gonna leave that block checked. And then I could go ahead and limit the quantity available. So if I'm selling only like 10 packages at $997, I could go ahead and set the limit to 10 right there. And then only 10 customers could buy the $997 package. So that's kind of nice if you have a limited offer or something to that effect. I'm going to go ahead and say no, and we'll go ahead and click on next. And in this field, we could go ahead and rename our pricing option. So right now it says one-time payment of $997, and that's pretty descriptive. So I'm probably going to leave it at that, but if I wanted to customize it, I could go ahead and do that. And when we look at the checkout page, I'll show you how this option looks. Additionally, we could allow people to buy one or more of our product or service at a time. So if we're selling an item where somebody might want to buy multiples, like maybe we're selling books or something like that, and somebody might want to buy 10 books, well, then you could go ahead and allow multiple purchases at once. But in my case, I'm going to go ahead and just do one purchase at a time, and we'll go ahead and click on save. So let's move on to the next pricing option. I'll click the button again. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and do a subscription. And we have a lot of options with our subscription, so we'll go through them real quick. So billing frequency, so how often do you want somebody to be billed? And you can see the options right here. We have monthly, annual, quarterly, every 6 months, every 2 weeks, weekly, daily. And so you can select what's relevant for you. So I would go ahead and do monthly. And then we could go ahead and set our monthly price. So I'm going to go ahead and make this $97 right here. And then it gives us the option to change today's price. And you may want to change this option if you're doing a trial period. So for example, maybe I want to do a $1 payment due today, and this would entitle them to, let's say, a custom 14-day trial period. And we can get a description right down here. So your customer will be charged 1 USD immediately for their 14-day trial and then 97 USD every month until they cancel. And so that sounds exactly like what I want, but there's also an option right here to limit the number of rebills. Right now it's indefinite, which means they'll be charged $97 a month for eternity. However, I could go ahead and change it. So I could change it to custom right here and then maybe make this 12 rebills. So if they say subscribe for 12 months and make a total payment of $1,165, well, then they would have lifetime access to my course or my service or whatever it is that I am selling. So this kind of lets you make like a payment plan for your product or your service. But in my case, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as indefinite. And then we have the customer purchase email. So we could send for the initial purchase, which we want to do. And then we could go ahead and send on recurring payment as well. And I always turn this on because I want people to know when I'm billing them. And so they're not looking at their credit card statement and seeing some random charge from a company that they forgot that they purchased from. And then they get mad and then they do a chargeback and then I have to pay a penalty. So I want people to know that I am billing them. So that way if they were mistakenly billed, they could go ahead and reach out to me or support. And I could go ahead and issue a refund before they go and do a chargeback or something like that. So I think it's just good customer service to let people know when you're charging them. But maybe you want to go ahead and turn that off, and you could if you want to. And then we have this same option down here, so limit quantity available, so no or yes right there. And we've already discussed this, so I'm going to go ahead and click on next. And here's our pricing option name. So we have subscription $97 a month. However, this isn't quite true. Instead, I want to say subscription, $1 for 14 days, then $97 a month, as I think that's a lot more descriptive. So I'll go ahead and click on save. Now you may have noticed that a new button popped up. There's this set global quantity option now. So if I want to set like a limited number of total products that are available for sale, I could go ahead and click this button right here, and I could change my global quantity to a number. Like maybe I only want to sell access to 100 people, in which case I could go ahead and set a quantity limit of 100, and we'll go ahead and do this for example. So that's pretty cool, right? You could go ahead and limit the different payment options as well as limit the total number of products or services that you're willing to sell. Now you may also notice that another option popped up now, so I could go ahead and set my out of stock options. So if 100 people come and they buy my product or service, well then what do I want to have happen? So I could go ahead and replace the cart with the message, or redirect to another page, or I could go ahead and reset the countdown. And so with this option, basically it would count down from 100 to 0, and then as soon as the last person buys a product, the timer would reset to 100, and then it would count down again. So it's kind of like a false scarcity tactic. So you could go ahead and choose whatever option is applicable to you and your business. But I'll just do replace cart with the message. Sorry, sold out. And I'll click on save settings. All right, let's add another pricing option. And this time we're going to go with split pay. And so this option right here is quite similar to a subscription with a limited number of rebills. Like you could basically achieve the same effect with both options. But let's go ahead and go through it real quick. So in this case, let's say that we'll sell at $197 and it will be a 6 payment plan. So in this case, your customer will be charged $197 immediately and then $197 every month for the next 5 months. The total amount paid for the product will be $1,182 USD. And same concept with the emails right here. So we could send for initial purchase or send on recurring payment, and same options for limited quantity available. We'll go ahead and click on next. And I'm going to change this description just a little bit. So it's split pay, 6 monthly payments at $197. We'll go ahead and click on save. And we'll do our last pricing option now and click on the drop down. So pay your own price. So here we could go ahead and let people pay their own price for a product or a service. Now I use this on donation forms, so that way people could go ahead and donate however much they wish to donate to the cause. So of course there's a lot of flexibility here. Now we do have the option to set a minimum price as well. So maybe you want to see how much somebody would pay over and beyond what it is you're selling. So let me go ahead and set a minimum payment right here of $9.97. Then we have the customer purchase email, and we want to go ahead and send that. So configure your thank you message. So if they pay whatever or more, show a specific message. So in this case, let's say if they pay $1 or more, show you have unlocked the secret bonus. So this kind of incentivizes them to increase the amount of money that they're going to send to you. Maybe we'll do another tier of payment. And let's say if they do $100 more, then they'll have unlocked a free coaching session. Now, I guess it's not really free if they're paying $100 for it, but you get the idea. You can basically incentivize people to go ahead and increase the amount of money that they're giving to you. We could also go ahead and limit our quantity, and we've already been over this a couple times, so we'll go to next. And here's our pricing option name, and I'm going to leave it at that and click on save. And so there we go. I've set up all 4 pricing options. Let's scroll on down. So we also have the option to calculate sales tax, and we could go ahead and select our sales tax provider. So the default is the ThriveCart ThriveCart simple sales tax option, but also you could go ahead and integrate with Quaderno or Zapier, which integrates with a whole bunch of other tools. So a few different options for calculating your sales tax, but we'll go with the ThriveCart one. We'll click on next. And here you could go ahead and select your product category. So there's software, coaching, video training course, audiobook, ebook, physical products, and other like services. So you could go ahead and select what's relevant for the product or service that you're selling. I'm pretending to sell a video training course, I guess. So we'll click that option and click on next. And here's a few tax settings you could go ahead and override if you want to. I'm going to leave it all blank and click on next. And then you need to go ahead and enter your address details. And I'll go ahead and click on save sales tax settings. And there we go. So now it'll calculate sales tax for me. And we'll see that on the checkout form. We could also go ahead and customize our customer's payment notification. So there's two different options. There's detailed notification and basic notification. We'll open the detailed notification first and click on next. So this is what the invoice would look like. And I think it's pretty simple as well. But you can go ahead and customize it a little bit by adding your own logo. Additionally, you could go ahead and change the color, so your primary, background, and text colors. You could also add custom text to the top, so top text, and also on the bottom, and bottom text. So you could write a little message to your customer if you want to do something like that, and it would go out on every single invoice sent out. So you probably want to write something generic. But anyway, we'll go ahead and click on save, and let's go ahead and click on edit again. And look at the basic notification just so you can see what that looks like. So we'll click on next. And so here it is right here. So it is very plain, but you do have a couple options to include access purchase button or include a contact button as well. But it doesn't have like the payment information or anything like that. So up to you if you'd want to use this version. But I'm going to go ahead and click on back because I like the detailed notification better, and next. And we'll just go ahead and save. And so there we go. We're done with the pricing options. Now we'll move on to bump. Now we have the option to add a bump product to our order form. So we'll go ahead and click on this option. And we could choose between digital or physical products. I'm going to go ahead and use a digital product because that is what I'm selling here. I'll click on confirm. And we could go ahead and name our bump product. So I'll call this a personal coaching session. And I'm going to go ahead and price it at $250. And we have the option to select whether the bump should be pre-selected by default or not. And so the default is no, but we could go ahead and make the bump box checked, and the customer would have to remove it if they didn't want it. Now, personally, I think that's a little sneaky, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the bump box unchecked to begin with. So I'll click that option. So now we can go ahead and decide what payment processors we want to go ahead and use. So this is assuming that you've already gone through and integrated. So if you haven't, you can come to settings and then go into view integrations, and then you could go ahead and look at your payment processors and connect which ones are relevant to you and your business. So assuming you've done that, you should see the payment options right here. So I could go ahead and activate Stripe, and I could select between Stripe Legacy and Stripe Enhanced. I'm going Enhanced. And one cool thing about Enhanced is it does let your customers use pay now options like Affirm, Klarna, and Afterpay. So this could be useful for your customers and useful to you where you get paid up front, and then these third parties need to worry about collecting the money on the back end. So anyway, you go ahead and select your Stripe account, and you go ahead and click on save, and you could go ahead and also do the same thing with PayPal and Authorize.net if you want to, but I'm just using Stripe, so I'll go ahead and click on next. Then we have the option to add affiliates for this product, and I'm going to have another video on the affiliate platform, so I'm not going to cover that in this video, as I think we're covering enough already in this video. So if you're interested in having affiliates promote your products, check out my affiliate video. I'm going to go ahead and click on next. So now we're under the fulfillment tab, and I have to select some after purchase options. So allowing people to access their product. So I need to include my support email or URL. So I could include an email address or a link to like my contact us page. And I can also select what happens after they purchase. So display their total invoice, send them to a URL, or add them to my membership site. I'm going to select this option real quick. So there's quite a few options as you can see. So I can select which membership platform. So my ThriveCart account has ThriveCart Learn already, and I have another video on ThriveCart Learn. So if you're interested in that, please check out my channel. But ThriveCart does support a few other membership platforms. Let's come over here and look. So membership platforms, so Digital Access Pass, Lifter LMS, Member Mouse, Member Press, Optimize Member, Teachable, Wishlist Member, and Zapier. So there's quite a few integrations available to you, but I'm sticking with ThriveCart Learn. So then I could go ahead and select the membership level. Granted, should be the same for all pricing options or different for each pricing option. So there's a lot of different flexibility here. And depending how your membership site is set up, you give them different access to different portions based off of whatever option they buy, and also if they buy the bump or not. And finally, you could go ahead and send students to a custom success page before accessing their course as well. So quite a few options here But I'm going to go ahead and hit this drop down and look at send them to a URL. So here we could send them to a different URL depending on the different options that they purchased. So the success URL for the one-time payment or the subscription or the split pay, or I could use the same URL for all pricing options. And there's also the option right here for URL expiration. And this would make the URL in the email that they receive expire after a certain amount of time. Now personally, I always change this to never because I want the person to be able to access their purchase whenever they want. And so if they bought something and then didn't access it right away and came back to it a few days later to access their purchase, and you had the link expire after 1 day, well then they wouldn't be able to access their purchase and they'd probably get mad and yell at you and stuff like that. So I always set this to never. So that way no matter when they click on the link in their email, they could go ahead and access their purchase. And you could also go ahead and assign a success URL for your bump offer as well. So that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to go ahead and change it to display their total and invoice. It's also the option, do you want to ship a CD or DVD to your customer via Kanaki? Now, I don't know how many people use CDs or DVDs anymore, so I don't know that this is relevant, but you could go ahead and check this. And you'd have to go ahead and connect your Kanaki account in order to have them ship your customer a CD or DVD. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because, yeah, I don't know who does that anymore. We'll go ahead and click on Next. And now we're under the Checkout tab. So here's where we can go ahead and design our checkout page. And I'm under design currently. I can go ahead and click on browse gallery. And so there's several templates that the ThriveCart team has already created. And I'll be the first to tell you that I am not the best builder within the ThriveCart page builder. So typically what I'll do is I'll use a WordPress page builder and build a nice looking sales page. And then I'll link over to my ThriveCart order form where the individual could go ahead and check out and buy the product or service that I'm selling. So typically I'll just create like an order form within ThriveCart and I won't use one of these nice fancy pretty templates, as I find them quite hard for me to customize and get them how I want them. So I'll typically come down here and I'll select one of the ones that looks like an order form. So like this one right here, I select a lot of the times because it's just a basic order form, which is what I like. So I'll go ahead and click on select. And so now we're in the page builder and it's pretty self-explanatory. So the page is basically broken down into blocks as well as elements. And so under blocks, you have progress bars, spacer blocks, hero areas, callouts, countdown timers, features, testimonials, facts, galleries, content. And then underneath of the elements, you have like your headers, text, images, videos, testimonials, bullets, seals, custom HTML, product info, and you have some structure elements as well. So columns, featured area, and content box. So quite a few elements to choose from, and you could make great looking pages in here. I just find it, kind of challenging to learn a whole new page builder when I'm already comfortable building pages in WordPress. You can also switch between desktop view and mobile view so you can make sure that it looks good on all the different devices. And one other thing is you can go ahead and adjust several different pages. So you have your cart page, and you also want to make sure that you adjust your success page as well. Make sure you change the colors and all that other stuff so it matches your brand. So I just wanted to show you that there's a drop down option right here. Also, this is where you'd go ahead and you'd add funnel steps if you're building a funnel. Now I already have another video on building funnels in ThriveCart, so check out my channel if you're interested in that. But let's go back to the cart page and I'll show you a couple different things within this editor. So of course, if I want to, I could go ahead and click on an element, and like this is a text element right here. So I could go ahead and write whatever I want right there. And as you can see, you can also add italic, underline, strike through, and so on. So your basic text editing settings right there. On the left, you can see that the element options menu opened up, and I could go ahead and adjust padding, spacing. I could change my font, my text color, font size, and so on. So a few different options for this particular element. Additionally, what I could do is come over here, and if I click off of it, I could hover over it and I could duplicate it. So if I get something looking the way I want, I could go ahead and duplicate it, and then I could drag it somewhere else on my page. So that way I don't have to reset my text settings or anything like that. Additionally, I could hover over it and click on delete. So if I wanted to delete an element, I could go ahead and do it like that. Now there are some elements that have settings like pre-established. So you want to click through all the elements on your page. So like this contact information one. If I click on it, you can see that the element options have changed. So I could go ahead and select whether I want to accept a customer name or not. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, enabled, first and last. And you can see that it automatically added those fields to my contact information element. I could select where the name field goes. So before email or after email. So you can select what's relevant. I could select to have people add their business name or their contact number or their customer address. And since I'm collecting tax information, I have to collect a customer address so I know where they live so I can calculate the tax. And here's the VAT number. So if that's relevant to your customers, you could go ahead and include that. Also, you could add custom fields. So if you want your customer to be able to submit custom information, you could go ahead and set up one of these fields. So maybe I have one that's comments, please leave a comment. And I could choose to show this on the customer's invoice or not. I'll include it, so I'll click on that and save. And there's also the option to show a terms and conditions checkbox, and I could go ahead and enter my terms and conditions right there. Also an option to show an opt-in checkbox. So if I want to give the individual the option to opt into marketing emails, I could go ahead and turn that on as well. And I'm just going to hide that because that's enough fields for my customer to fill out. And I'll go ahead and just click on done. So you want to go ahead and you want to click on all these different elements and make sure you select any options that are relevant to you. So for this choose pricing option, there's a few different things right here. So I could show prices under each option. So it would look like that right there. I could also do buy now, pay later through Stripe. So if we turn that on, people could go ahead and use Klarna or Afterpay or Affirm. Additionally, I could go ahead and add images if I want to the different pricing options that are available. So I could turn that on, and then I could go ahead and add a different image for each pricing option. So that is available to you as well. Coming on down here to payment information, there's no custom element options for it. Let's come up here to this one right here, and I could change the design a little bit, but that's about it. And I also have the bump down here. So I'll go ahead and click on this, and there's no real customization options here, but I could click on here to change the text if I want to do that. So basically you just want to click through the order form and make sure that any options that are available to you, you go ahead and select the ones that are, relevant to you and your business. Now let me come back out of here real quick. Also, one thing you may want to do is come down here to the settings area. So click right there. And here's where you could go ahead and set your page title, page description, and allow indexing of search engines. This also lets you go ahead and set a favicon as well as a social share image. So if people are sharing your order form page or your sales page on social media, well, this will be the image that gets presented when they post that link. So you want to go ahead and make sure that this looks good in case your sales page gets picked up by Google or posted on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. Anyway, I'll go ahead and click on cancel. And I want to show you one trick real quick. So if you want to create your own custom block, what I would do is I come to blocks here, and then I go to content, and then I can drag that over here, and then it comes preset with some junk in it. And what I would do is delete this out of here, and we'll come over and delete element, and delete this element as well. Delete that, delete element, and delete this little bar at the bottom. And then we got to get rid of that picture. So we'll click the trash can right here. And yes, remove this image, and then I could come over here to elements and come down to structure and columns, and then I could go ahead and basically design my page. So I could have a 3-column or a 4-column, and I can select the vertical alignment, the width, the column gap, and kind of customize it how I want to. So this lets me kind of like create my own custom blocks if I want to do that. So now I could go ahead and come and grab some elements, like maybe I'll grab an image and I'll put this picture in here and use image, and come back, and then maybe I'll go ahead and add a little bit of text right there. And let's say that I want to go ahead and add a title or heading. We'll add a heading above our text. And then maybe I want to go ahead and add some bullets as well. So I could throw some bullets in there, and I could add various bullets that I want to add as well. So that's how you can kind of create your own custom blocks, is by getting a content block, deleting the content out of it, and then going and adding a column element to that block, so that we could go ahead and add additional elements and design the page how you want it. So anyway, this takes some practice and playing around with it. And like I said, I usually build my sales pages in WordPress, and then I link over to a order form type page within ThriveCart. But if you wanted to, you could build your sales pages directly in ThriveCart. I'm gonna go ahead and click on next, and it recommends that I update my success page, but I'm gonna leave it how it is and click on complete. And there we go, that is perfect. And sometimes it'll load a little preview here, but sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and click on tracking. So here's where you can go ahead and set up your tracking service, and I have another video on how to set up your Facebook Pixel ID as well as the conversions API. So check out my channel if you're interested in that. But I definitely recommend, if you're running ads to your funnels and your order forms, you definitely need to track conversions. So make sure that you're tracking your conversions and optimizing and all that type of stuff. But this is where you could go ahead and set up those integrations. And then we have behavior. And let's go ahead and add a rule. And so here you could go ahead and set up different behaviors when people buy your products or services. So when the main product is purchased, or the main product is refunded, or the cart is abandoned, or a payment is declined, or stuff happens with your bump offer, or your subscriptions, or your dunning. So a whole bunch of different options you could go ahead and apply a different behavior to it. So let's just go with the main product is purchase. And then we have another option. So for any of your pricing options or for specific pricing options. And then you could go ahead and select which pricing option that you want this particular behavior to apply to. So let's just select this one right here. And then we could go ahead and use one of our integrations. So I've integrated with ActiveCampaign. But if you have another integration set up, you could go ahead and select it. And I'll just use ActiveCampaign. And then we have more options, so add them to or remove them from. And we have list, automation, existing tag, new tag. So I'll go ahead and select new tag and say purchased main product. And then I can select whether to run in specific locations or not. So outside the European Union or inside the European Union or United States or United Kingdom and so on. So a whole bunch of different options on when and how I could add them to my ActiveCampaign account. So you can get really fancy with all these different behaviors and stuff like that, depending on what your needs are. But I'm going to leave it at that, as behaviors are just a matter of clicking around and figuring out what you actually need. And so I think that covers pretty much everything for digital products. Let's go over and do a physical product real quick. I'm not going to go over every single setting like I did with the digital products because a lot of it is very repetitive, but there are some unique options for physical products that I want to point out. So let's come back out here to products, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new product. And this time I'm going to select physical. And so the difference between a physical product and a digital product is physical products let you charge shipping on your products. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create new product. And basically all this stuff in here is the same except for when we get to fulfillment. So let me click over here to fulfillment. And you can see that now we have an option for shipping. And we can go ahead and add various shipping options to suit our needs. So let's go ahead and click on this option real quick. So in this field, you'd enter your public name for the shipping rate. So this might be like free shipping or expedited shipping or ground shipping, you know, things like that. And I'll go through a couple different options here, but we'll start with free shipping. And then we can go ahead and choose our fulfillment provider. So over here under the integrations, if you want to go to fulfillment services, you can see all the different services that ThriveCart integrates with. So Dis.com, Kanaki, Lulu, Printful, Shippo, ShipStation, Shopify, or you could go ahead and post orders directly into Google Sheets, which is kind of nice and convenient. Additionally, there's Zapier as well that integrates with a bunch of other tools. So that could be the option you choose. But coming back over here, you could also go ahead and just do manual shipping. So we're going to select that option, as all the integrations have their own functions and features, and I'm not really going to get into them in this video, as I think this video is long enough. So we'll stay with manual shipping. Then I can go ahead and add the weight for my product. So if you're integrating with one of the fulfillment providers, they might use this information in order to buy the postage and create the shipping label. But also, just for the sake of example, let me click Shopify because I do have it integrated. So in Shopify's case, all the dimensions and weights and stuff like that are already saved in Shopify, and so Shopify already has that detail, and so I don't need to provide it from ThriveCart. So it really just depends if you need to go ahead and enter the dimensions for your product. But as you can see, it's optional, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it blank because honestly, I've never had to use the dimensions, but maybe they're a detail you need. Like if you're using Google Sheets and you have a bunch of orders going to the Google Sheet, and then you have a fulfillment center on the other end fulfilling the orders for you, in that case, you may need to go ahead and enter the weight and dimensions so that fulfillment company can know what size package it needs to ship the products in. So you can fill out the weight and dimensions if they're needed, or leave them blank. Alright, up next we have available to the following locations, and there's several options to choose from. So there's everywhere or worldwide, there's national, international, specific countries, specific US states, anywhere except. I'm going to go through a few of these options in this video, but we're going to start with national. So anywhere in the United States, we'll go ahead and do free shipping. So I'll select that option, and amount to charge, well, it'd be $0 because we're doing free shipping. So I'll go ahead and click on next. And then this shipping option is available all the time for specific quantities, for specific pricing options if the customer purchases the bump, if the customer does not purchase the bump. So depending on how you set up the product, you could go ahead and enable this shipping option for different scenarios. So you could use this shipping to be like an incentive. Like maybe discounted expedited shipping is available if you order 10 or more of a product or something like that. Anyway, for this example, I'm going to say all the time and next. And now we have some more shipping pricing options. So for multiple quantity orders, charge shipping for each item. So the default is no, charge shipping only once per order. Or you could change this to yes, so charge the shipping rate for each item. In which case, if somebody can buy, quantities of an item, so they could buy 10 books, well, do you want to charge them shipping for every single book they're buying? Or do they only have to pay the shipping for the entire order? So this will depend on how you're selling and how you want to approach it. I'm going to go ahead and do no. And then I can go ahead and set the label for this pricing option. And this is just an identifier that is used by you to track the shipping rate. So I'll just say that this is free shipping. So I'll call this free shipping and click on save. So there we go, I have my free shipping option. Let's go ahead and add another option. And this one will be international. And we'll go ahead and do a manual shipping option. And then this one will be anywhere except, and in this case, we want to exclude the United States because I'm already shipping to the United States with my free shipping offer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save. And the amount I want to go ahead and charge would be $9.99. And we'll click on next. And then I can go ahead and select when the shipping option is available. So all the time, or specific quantities, or specific pricing options, and so on. Again, I'm going to do all the time and next. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and charge the shipping rate for each item that I'm shipping. So I'm going to click on yes there, and this will be national, and save. Now let's say that I realize like people from one country keep ordering my product and it's costing more than the $9.99 to ship it to them. Like for me to ship to Australia, it costs $15 for a little book. And so I might have a rate specific to Australia. So let's go ahead and set that up as well. So add shipping option. And this one would be international. So I'm still going to call it international shipping. However, this price is only going to apply to people living in Australia. So again, I'll do manual shipping right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do specific countries. And we'll find Australia. So here we go right here. And I'll go ahead and click on save. And in this case, I want to charge $15 to ship to Australia. So I'll click on next. And it's available all the time. Next, and this would be international Australia. And let me go ahead and apply it to every single product that they're buying and save. Now I need to come back up here and edit my international option right here. And I need to go ahead and make sure I exclude Australia in this one. So let's find Australia. There it is, and save. And then next and save. So there we go. I have 3 shipping options available. The free shipping option will only show up to people that live in the United States because I'm offering them free shipping. International will show up to everybody but those who live in the United States as well as Australia. And then I have an international rate just for Australia. And so it'll only show up for those people living in Australia. Now let me go to the checkout area as well real quick. So checkout, and we'll do the browse gallery. And I'm just going to pick this template down here that we were working with earlier and select. And so you may need to update this contact information field. Like you may need to add the customer name so that way you're shipping to, somebody's first and last name. And then there's also the shipping element as well that you may need to adjust some in order for it to suit your needs. And once you're all happy with everything, of course, you can come up here and save changes and exit out of this form and save changes and on exit. And so that's pretty much the difference between a physical and digital product. It's the shipping information under fulfillment. And then on the checkout form, you have the extra element that includes the shipping information that people can fill out. So as a final step to this video, let's go ahead and look at our product sales pages. So we can come to our products area and we can grab this get URL here. And we got a URL, and I can go ahead and copy it, and we can visit that URL and test to make sure everything is working. So here's my beautiful page right here. And I could go ahead and test this out. So let me fill this information in real quick. And you can see the pricing options that I've set up. So I have my one-time payment of $997 or a subscription or split pay or pay your own price option right here, where the individual could go ahead and enter their price. So it'd be $997 plus $5. And you can see up here a summary of the order. And I'll just select this one real quick, and we can come over here and we can see a summary of our order. So we have today's payment of $1 and future payments of $97. And I could go ahead and test out with the test credit card info. So copy card number, paste it in there. And then expiration date just has to be something in the future. So plug something in there. CVC can be anything. And there's my country and zip. And I'm going to add this bump offer to my order as well. And you can see that it updated my payment. I added the personal coaching session, and then I could go ahead and complete the order. And there we go. My order has been completed. So that's how the order form works. And so the last thing to remember to go ahead and do is come back to your product settings, and you want to make sure that you turn it live. So we turn on live mode and then save and get URL. And now I could go ahead and send traffic to this order form or sales page and start taking payments for my products or services. And so that's pretty much it for this video on how to create both digital and physical products within ThriveCart. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, I appreciate any sorts of likes, comments, subscribes, and or check out crazymarketing.com. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.